Scott, what were you singing over there? Well, hummus.
That was some Patsy Cline.
Okay.
We're with Scott Cox, former Foothill High tennis and baseball star.
Bingo.
Bingo.
I heard this. Steve Holloway told me this the other day. The F on the side of the math building stands for physics.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just like the N on the Nebraska helmet stands for knowledge.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Holly's a funny guy.
Trevor's with us on the phone. I believe, Trevor, you still there? Trevor?
I am.
Oh, all right.
I am.
There you are. Is it cold yet?
Quiet yourself.
What was your greatest athletic achievement, Scott Cox?
There was one night at Mesa Marin I won 2 different races in 2 different kind of cars and finished 3rd in a motorcycle race
That's
all on the
pretty
same
good.
night.
Wow.
Trevor Horn, what was your best athletic achievement?
Playing a flag football tournament, caught a touchdown to win a game on the blue at Boise State.
Nice. Ewing?
Oh.
Beating Jeff in fantasy football?
Remember, Zach, you didn't play high school sports, and chess doesn't count.
I once came back against one of the state's top 10 tennis players from 6-0, 5-0 down in a high school match.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good. That's very good.
Also made the state wrestling tournament my senior year, but then I was stuck on my back twice very quickly once there, so I can't count that.
Nice. That's very good. All right, let's get to the picks.
All right. Week 1 of the playoffs. In the southern section, we got 3 games, including an 8-man game. Mojave at 8-0 hosting Upland Christian.
Mojave.
Mojave hasn't lost a game in 2 years. Don't think they lose this one. Trevor?
Bobby.
Scott?
Did you say Mojave?
Mojave.
Mojave. I'm gonna go with that because it sounds awesome. Mojave.
What do you say? Mojave?
No, just usually Mojave.
Mojave?
Mojave.
Mojave. Oh, all right.
All right.
I used to mispronounce Boron. Now I'm being
Boron?
corrected on Mojave as well. All right. Moving on. Desert hosting Santa Clarita Christian. The Scorpions of Desert.
Desert.
Tremendous offense. I think they win as well. Then they got to face Grace Brethren next week, which will be a different story. Trevor?
Yeah, I think exactly, Zach. I think Desert's going to move on.
If I let you pick these games, are you going to make fun of the way I say all the
No,
schools?
just Mojave.
Just Mojave.
Mojave.
Okay.
Mojave.
All right. I'd never heard that one before, but go ahead. Desert or Santa Clarita Christian? Dig into your vast base of knowledge about these
Just
two
pick
teams
Desert.
here.
I used to race motorcycles in the desert and never in Santa Clarita, so I'm going to say desert.
All right, then.
Very good. Nice.
And the third Southern Section playoff game,
Good game.
involving a Kern County team. Burroughs and Barstow. Barstow's 9-1, you notice. Their only loss was to Burroughs earlier in the year, so this is a rematch.
Wait, was that game at Barstow?
It was at Barstow.
I like Burroughs in this game.
I actually think the revenge factor favors the Aztecs of Barstow, so I'm going to go there.
Interesting.
What do you think, Trevor?
Barstow's a high seed in that division too, right?
Barstow.
They are. They're 9-1. You
I'm
like
gonna take-
Barstow,
I'm
Trevor?
going to take Burroughs.
You're going to take the Burros. How about you?
Is Burroughs named after Edgar Rice Burroughs?
I do not know, but their nickname is also the Burros.
I better go Barstow on this one then.
Okay.
Get back to me on the Edgar Rice Burroughs thing, though.
Good a reason as any. All right, into the central section. No local teams playing in D6 or D5. Kennedy, McFarland, Kern Valley, and Cal City all have byes. So moving into Division 4, this is a tricky game for Taft. I sort of automatically assumed Taft would be okay here. The North Sequoia League was very good this year, and Kerman was competitive in it. This is going to be a dogfight. What do you think there, Trevor?
I think Josh Taylor is going to come back and be healthy for this one, and it's going to be a tight one, but I see the Wildcats pulling out at home.
Did you just yawn in the middle of that?
Probably.
I thought I heard a yawn. Okay,
Taft.
Lewis likes Taft. I'm going to go with Taft because I respect the home field advantage there. That's a long trip for Kerman, but I could see this going the other way. Scott?
Will Kurt Russell be playing?
He will not.
Robin Williams? You just now got it? I'm going to say Taft, obviously.
Oh, man. Okay.
You're welcome.
You will say Taft. Okay, into Division 3, there are 4 local games in Division 3. Second straight year these two have met in the first round. Last year was at Golden Valley. Fresno came down here and won the game. This year, Fresno goes 9-1 and hosts the Bulldogs of Golden Valley. Fresno may be underseeded at 9-1 at number 5. Trevor, what do you think?
Completely underseeded. I think Fresno's actually probably a top 3 or 4 team in D3. They're going to come down well, they're not going to come down. They're actually going to stay at home and win this one. I have it kind of close, but I still see that, Fresno beating Golden Valley handedly.
I don't know that they're underseeded simply because it's tough to say which of the top 4 seeds would you bump below them. When you look at Hanford, Memorial, Tehachapi, and Bakersfield Christian, it's tough to say one of those teams deserves to be 5. So somebody had to be 5 and was going to feel slighted, and it turns out being the Warriors. So Fresno High, I like them big here. I think Golden Valley, for some reason, Golden Valley never got it on the rails this year.
No, I like Fresno as well.
Golden Valley, usually the sum is better than the whole is better than the sum of the parts. This year is kind of the opposite. They have some good players. They have some nice talent. Never really came together for them this year.
Scott?
Everything from, near, about, or anything to do with Fresno sucks. I'll go with Golden Valley.
All right. That's a strong take there. Elsewhere in division,
expressed by Scott Cox or Scott Cox alone. Remember, everybody.
Yep.
Up next is, yes, the opinions of Scott Cox do not necessarily reflect. What do we
They
put at
do,
the
though.
end of
They
columns?
absolutely do. He
Reflect
just gave me the
opinions
thumbs
of
up. Like, yes, they do.
All right.
That does not reflect the thoughts of TBC Media or me or Zach or Lewis.
This Schweppes, by the way, is truly disgusting.
Why are you
It's an
still
awful
drinking?
beverage, isn't it?
Why are you still?
Is it going to smell funny when I get back into the office in 45 minutes?
Reedley and South. Let's get
When
going.
does it not smell funny in this office? At least when days on Hop has been here, right? Reedley and South. Trevor, you're going to be at this game. Tell us a little bit about it and save us here.
I think that maybe I have a little bit more, faith and confidence in the Rebels than the two of you do. But I see, South, I know they're kind of undisciplined and this or that or, too many penalties into the game, but I also think they're way too talented for this Reedley team. And at home, I think that South, with P.J. Jones and Aries Harris and, Israel Morales on the defensive side of the ball. And P.J. Jones really kind of in all 3 phases. He's got 5 interceptions. He returns the ball. He's got 1,200 yards rushing. I think South is just a little too talented for Reedley to handle. And, yes, Reedley is coached by my old high school head coach, Mike Vogt. But, yeah, I see South winning this one.
I see South winning it as well.
Former Buchanan coach Mike Vogt. I just want to see South lose so P.J. Jones can get to wrestling because he's fun to watch wrestle. I do think South pulls this out, but look, this is not a gimme for a team that can't seem to. They're not real consistent quarter to quarter, down to down. I think they pull this out because they're more talented than Reedley, but I also think South's in trouble next week at Memorial if they do win.
But they can, and they can kind of. Bust off a big play as well as anybody. So
absolutely, and they tend to do that when they're playing a team that is overmatched. South does hit a lot of big plays, and so this could get away from Reedley. I do like South eventually to pull out here, to pull this out here. One more game in D3, and then we'll take a break. It's North. Oh no, we have two more games, I believe. North at Tulare Western. The Stars shut out for the second straight year by South last week. What did you see from the North High Stars last week, Lewis?
Not a lot. I didn't see a lot. I saw a lot of wanting to do certain things offensively. I saw a confused team offensively. I did not see a good performance last week, and I don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to be able to beat Tulare.
And meanwhile, Tulare Western had its best performance of the season, beating Tulare Union, handing Tulare Union its first loss, 31-28, I believe the score was.
I saw North early this season. They looked pretty good, and then I don't know what happened. I know they had some injuries and they've had some ineligibility and everything, but they were experimenting with the double wing and they were doing all this kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, well, and then you see the guys like, where do I line up at? Where do I go? I mean, that's a problem in Week 10.
Louis, can I stop you there before you? There actually was. I talked to Norm Brown pretty extensively last week. There actually was nobody on this team ineligible. It was more so they were actually on the verge of having a few guys ineligible, and he actually pushed them hard in study hall in the classroom. And I think that may have taken away from some of their football prowess because he was taken away from practice time to be able to put these guys in the classroom and keep them eligible.
Well,
so
kudos to Norm Brown for that, but on the football field, that might have cost them any chance for North in this one, Trevor.
Trevor. I don't buy that as an excuse. I think it was just that was something.
I'm not saying it's an excuse.
But you are, Trevor. Come on, admit it. You're making an excuse for the guy.
No, you said they're no, Louis.
They were disorganized,
Scott.
No,
I don't.
said
You told me
specifically
they
that
had
ineligible.
ineligibility last week, Trevor, and they were
No, that's not what I said.
disorganized
You
and
misheard
squirrely
me.
like you.
Scott.
Wow.
No, you misheard
Things
me.
are getting heated.
Things are getting
That's how we
heated.
roll here.
My sister went to Tulare Western. Let's go with that.
All right. One more game before we take a break. This is the game Lewis will be at. Bakersfield Christian hosting Highland. You seem to think the Scots have a shot here, Lewis.
I don't think they have necessarily a shot here, but I think that it's not necessarily the most ideal matchup for BCHS. It's a tough one. It's one they can't take for granted. They got to come out and do their, they got to run their offense, do things they need to do. And, because if you let Highland hang around, you will not probably regret it. And Highland's very physical defensively. So I just ask South how physical they are.
Yeah, I don't.
Right, Trevor?
I don't necessarily think Bakersfield Christian is a great team. They can't just show up and beat anybody, but they're well coached. They have kids who play hard, and they have some good athletes. I think that will carry them here. And then they got a real good one against Fresno next week potentially. Trevor?
I think they got a really. They got the. I think they got the best seed of all in D3 when you think about how they started out to get to the 4 seed, especially when you look at a Hanford team that's kind of beaten up. And then if Golden Valley is able to do some things to Fresno, yeah, I think Bakersfield Christian kind of wins this one. I don't want to say easily, but I think that they can get up on Highland quickly because they are a much better passing team than maybe anybody else in Kern County. Austin Gaines is a good young sophomore quarterback. And I think that the Eagles kind of have everything rolling the way it needs to.
Scott, the Scots or the Christians?
Will Jesus actually have a rooting interest in the game?
Yes.
Okay, you got a team with Christ in it, and you got a team with High in it. Come on, there's only one way you can pick this one.
You mean you got a team with Christ in it and a team with Scott in it? That's
Right.
No
You know
contest.
what? Give me
Yeah.
Highland then, since I don't think I'm going to get any of them right. Let's run the table on this deal.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with D1 and D2 after this.